up, Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Mr. Vice President, I'm going off script again, I know, but I just want to personally thank you. We've been through some stuff. We've gone through some of the most complex military operations this country's ever conducted, and your steady hand and your leadership during those was a great source of strength for me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your character. Thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for commitment. Thank you for being a mentor to me, Mr. Vice President.
It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. Did I get that one right? Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
This is a president of the United States who is a danger to the Republic.
America first.
He knows he's an illegitimate president.
The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans.
The great Trump recovery.
America will never be a socialist country. I will fight for you with every breath in my body.
Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, Russian, Russia, Russian, 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 the Russians.
Russia.
And I will never, ever let you down.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
This is really the worst attack we've ever had. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this.
The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election. Together, we will make America strong again. You know what it's about? Fraud, fake ballots. We will make America wealthy again. They are trying to steal the election.
Now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of Special Operations Forces.
We will make America proud again. And watch, please, those mail-in ballots. We will make America safe again. And in millions and millions of ballots. Their vote is under what they thought they needed. They're dumping more ballots in there, okay? And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you. If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president.
Congress, the chair declares the joint session dissolved.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Devolution Power Hour. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Chris. Chris, how you doing, sir?
The horrors persist, but so do I. I don't know.
I'm glad you made it back from that undisclosed location to your other undisclosed location.
I'm also glad that I was able to return.
But I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. I can't believe Gart is days away.
Yeah,
but should be a fun show tonight. I wasn't originally planning on getting into like the Bill Barr whistleblower stuff, but I had a hilarious exchange with the whistleblower tonight on Twitter, and so we have to now. No choice.
Sure.
We're also going to discuss what else. Oh, you had somebody get in touch with you, or I don't know how much you want to disclose about that, but we may have a new federal informant, which is a very interesting one, even if we don't know why.
Yeah, well, it also might not be new. We just realized it.
Yeah, but nobody else is talking about it either. So
Right,
it's going to be new to everybody.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Putin-Trump peace discussions, and Zelensky is like the Kermit the Frog, sad, looking out the rainy window because he's not invited for now.
The Financial Times article on it today was hilarious. I don't know if you saw my post excerpting that, but
no.
Yeah, it was just basically talking about how Ukraine wouldn't have much say in how things were going to wind down, which is like, I don't know. We can get into that later.
Yeah, we'll get into that later because that's definitely a rerun, and I'll prove that. But yeah, before we get into anything, let's get a quick word from the sponsor of tonight's show. First up, we got a little oops, better get rid of that. Little CB Distillery. CB Distillery's VIP sale is on. For a few days only, you can save up to 50% on everything with code RUMBLE. If better sleep, less stress, and pain relief after exercise sounds good to you, you need to hear about CBD from CB Distillery. They have plant-based solutions for just about everything. Sleep, stress, mood, focus, even pain after exercise, all made with high-quality, clean ingredients. They even have CBD for your pets. Many of you are already feeling the difference, especially with their sleep products. It's my personal favorite. So if it sounds like you're tossing when you're sleeping, you're sore, whatever it is, whatever health concern you have, get rid of the Tylenol. That is not health advice. And make the switch to CB Distillery. And now's your chance to save big with code RUMBLE. 50% off everything. CBDistillery.com, promo code RUMBLE. Not available in Idaho, Iowa, and South Dakota. And when we're down there this week, I think we should go to the South Dakota State Capitol and ask why that is, because I do not understand it.
Yeah, we'll have to put in a good word for CB Distillery.
Yeah, not that gas station CBD, but we'll do it for CB Distillery for sure. We also got Chef IQ. Their products are freaking incredible. It started with the Chef IQ Sense.
Yep.
And then I got the ice maker thing. Revolutionized my ice making.
Me too.
And then I don't know if everybody got this, but I also got.
I did not.
Did you get the?
That looks pretty cool.
This is awesome, and the slushy machine. My kids are obsessed with the slushy machine. We do slushies every day now.
You got the whole range.
Yeah, I got a whole smorgasbord.
That's what you get for being king.
I disavow that comment, but I am appreciative of all the things they have sent me, because my kitchen shelving, my cabinets, it's just full of Chef IQ stuff now, and it's awesome. They have their flash sale going on, and it's just gotten flashier with this right here. It pairs perfectly with your Chef IQ Sense. It fries chicken that tastes like takeout chicken, except it's healthier. It bakes pizza like a pizza oven. It grills steaks, hamburgers, chicken, and fish just like your outdoor grill would. It bakes bread like a bread maker, cooks bacon to your liking, and even toasts bread to perfection. Comes with an egg tray that makes whipping up delicious eggs a breeze, and it bakes cakes and muffins so moist you'll think they came from a bakery. That's how moist it is, guys. You think it comes from a bakery. Best of all, your IQ mini oven connects to your smartphone app. Set it to whatever you're cooking, and your phone tells you when it's done to perfection. It also pairs perfectly with your Chef IQ Sense, and that's just smart. Again, their flash sales on right now. Go to chefiq.com, use promo code DPH. Again, that's chefiq.com, promo code DPH. And my son, while he's going to sleep tonight, I thought he was asleep, but he wasn't. And he hey, Dad, can you tell Chef IQ thank you for all the stuff? So I just wanted to thank you to Chef IQ from my son. It's so funny. But anyway, man, let's talk about Bill Barr a little bit.
Okay.
And this one, I don't know. I almost don't even want to do it, because I know people want to hate Bill Barr, and I understand it. He didn't do the things we want him to do. People get mad at people like Bill Barr, Pence, and all those things. And maybe he's not a good guy. I don't even know for sure. I've definitely kind of shifted in my thinking on him. I was like, for sure, white hat. Now I don't know. And maybe I don't even care. But there's this whistleblower stuff this week. And I don't know how much you saw of this, Chris.
I didn't get too much of it. I feel like that was a Twitter only phenomenon. But just to clarify off the top, the Project Veritas element, that is the not James O'Keefe element of Project Veritas, right? This
Yes.
wasn't a James O'Keefe whistleblower or anything.
No.
Okay.
This was Project Veritas.
Yeah, the counter-op.
The counter-op.
Took James O'Keefe out and was starring a bunch of DeSantis Sims.
That's why when you found a company, you don't give up your ownership. Ownership is the most important part.
No doubt.
And James O'Keefe got screwed in that regard. But here, so I'll show you a couple examples. You know, a lot of breaking bombshells from Alex Jones and people of the like. Breaking bombshell. Project Veritas whistleblower reveals deep state cabal, including Bill Barr, Armstrong Williams, Fannie Willis, targeted Trump supporters. He had prior knowledge of Mar-a-Lago raid months before it happened, claims Project Veritas whistleblower. This is her. Her name is Patricia.
This plan they had to go after everyone who works or support Trump. And that was back in September 13 of 2021.
I can't stand playing the whole thing. There's a whole bunch of articles on this on Project Veritas' website. Former Attorney General Bill Barr and media figure Armstrong Williams are running a legal immigration visa fraud scheme for billionaires. Oh boy. Okay, so a little context of this story. Back in December of 2024, so that would have been however many months ago, 9 months ago, CanCon came into our Telegram chat and was like, oh, you guys, check this out. Crazy whistleblower. Because this was kind of like circling then on some smaller podcasts. And he got in touch with this gal's lawyer. And we're like, okay, we'll hear her out. So me, Ash, and CanCon sat in on a call with this Patricia's attorney, kind of like feeling out the information they had. And she presented a whole bunch of stuff. And not a single thing she showed was actual proof of anything. Like she said a lot of things and said that Patricia has a lot of things that are like really damning. Like, okay, great. Can you send us those things? Send us the proof that you have, and we'll maybe take it more seriously, and maybe we'll talk about it on our shows. We never got anything. They never sent anything over, even though they claimed to have a whole bunch of documents and a whole bunch of proof. We never got it. So I'd honestly forgot this entire thing existed until this week. And so I had done a whole bunch of digging already into this gal. Now, the proof that they are presenting are these text messages where she's allegedly talking to this Williams guy, Armstrong Williams, and discussing some of the things, the fraud scheme that's going on, and then email exchanges about meetings with Bill Barr. And there's also these handwritten notes that are supposedly proof of meetings of including Bill Barr. Okay. Now, I just want to point out something, that just because somebody writes notes down on paper, that doesn't prove anything, because I can do the same thing. I even did it before the show. I had a meeting back in September 12th of 2021 with Patricia where she told me she was going to make up a whole story about Bill Barr. Now, this is proof. This is proof based on what we're seeing. So this is just part one. We haven't actually seen any proof yet of any of the claims that she's making. She says she has proof. We haven't seen it.
She has very good penmanship for like a high school sophomore.
And a Brazilian.
My penmanship is terrible, just to be fair.
Oh, mine is too. I just showed everybody. Mine's bad. And this was me trying. But yeah, do you have any comments so far? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep trucking.
No, keep going.
Okay. So back in January of 2024, she was indicted for all the things she's accusing Bill Barr of. There's an indictment. There's an arrest warrant. She fled the country. There's a grand jury that indicted her on like 20 counts or something. It's all out here, the whole thing. I can even post the link to this in the chat for you guys if you're able to open this up. But yeah, all sorts of email proof that the DOJ supposedly has, wire transfers. There's one here for like $109,000 wire transfer from her Wells Fargo account to a real estate company as down payment on her personal address in Arlington, Virginia. The accusations are that she was running this visa fraud scheme. She's trying to pin it on Bill Barr. And
wow.
Yeah.
The fact that she was buying a home in Arlington, Virginia seems notable considering she's not American, right?
No. Well, she has a visa, I think, but I'm pretty sure it's not a legitimate one.
Arlington, Virginia. I mean, that's kind of right in the heart of things, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, lots of money moving around. Now, one interesting thing I did find is the attorney that brought this case forward against her. Actually, let me go back to this first. At the bottom here, attorney Jessica D. Aber is the one who indicted her. She died like back in March of this year. She was found dead. Maybe it could be totally just coincidence. Could be nothing there. I don't know. But she's dead. I mean, that's
notable.
Yep. Notable. Now back to Patricia. I don't know Patricia personally. I am just going to be presenting information that I found online. Okay. I am not calling her a liar. Other people are. I'm not calling her low-key psychotic. This is just all alleged information based on Brazilian news because that's where she's from. When she was down in Brazil, she filed a police report against Eduardo Bolsonaro. That is Bolsonaro, like Trump of the tropics, as we lovingly call him. That's his son. The civil police of Federal District has released the final report of the investigation open to determine whether journalist Patricia Lilas lied when she said she was threatened by Congressman Eduardo Bolsonaro. The conclusion was that she filed a false complaint against the president's son. Let me find, where'd my highlights go?
And it really is important to just really emphasize the Trump of the tropics, the Brazilian Trump aspect of it, because we know how Trump was pursued during the fake and illegitimate Biden term. And Bolsonaro and Brazil are essentially going through the exact same thing on a 2-year delayed timeline. So every one of these parts of the story is going to have a parallel here. And we've seen stuff like this.
100%. And Trump has publicly came out against what they're doing to Bolsonaro. He even as much as put a 50% tariff on Brazil. Part of it was because of their free speech infringement down there and stuff. But part of it too was hey, you better stop doing this with Bolsonaro or we're going to do a 50% tariff. And that's what he's done. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the complaint against Bolsonaro was dismissed in 2019. The police tested her narrative. This is a translation from Spanish, so it's not perfect. But she shifted from victim to suspect. Based on all the information gathered during the investigation, the existence of authorship and criminal materiality is verified, which indicate that the accused committed the crime of false accusation in a willful manner. She falsely imputed a crime on Eduardo, but that wasn't the case. It is said that she were based solely on false statements and fabricated cell phone messages. So the fact that she isn't turning over the messages or her phone or anything, how do we even know that these messages are real? She's fabricated cell phone messages in the past, according to this.
So handwritten, supposedly contemporaneous notes and screenshots from her cell phone.
Yes.
Supposedly from her cell phone. That's the extent of.
Yes. And none of it, it's not like Bill Barr texting with her confirming this criminal stuff. It's her boss, this Williams guy, and her texting allegedly, if the messages are real, talking about this stuff. Now, I have another article, and this one is a little more opinionated, and this could all be totally false, but I think it's still important context. So again, 2024, 5 months after she was indicted in the United States, because after everything went down with Bolsonaro and she got charged there, she fled the country to the United States. And then once she got charged here, she fled the country and is in hiding somewhere else. She's on the run from the FBI. Patricia Lilas fights in court with Bolsonaro and the Workers' Party. She filed a criminal complaint against Eduardo for alleged threats. In turn, she was charged by the Federal District Civil Police with false accusations and some badly told stories. Now, this is this, news article, whatever, interviewed people she knew and where she went to school and all these other things. And these are some of the comments they said. She's being sued by friends, ex-boyfriends, and even the university where she graduated in journalism. She was ordered to pay 4 monthly tuition fees, totaling I don't even know what is that, R613. I don't know what they use down in Brazil for money.
I don't know.
Okay, well, whatever. I should have done it in sats. But anyway, including interest and monetary correction. She claimed to have brain cancer when grading periods for the course approached. That way she avoided submitting her work. The whole class sympathized. People were moved by her story. She liked to pose as someone financially well off. She said she was always going to the United States. She even said she got married there. A former fling of Patricia's said she fabricated a pregnancy in 2017. And then when the relationship started to fall apart, she said she was pregnant. They lived in different cities. He asked her to leave to have prenatal care with a doctor he knew. The day before the exam, she texted me with the house dirty saying she'd miscarried. I was at work, rushed to take her to the hospital, and the doctor said she wasn't pregnant and hadn't miscarried. She would send messages to the girls this guy was dating and said he was abusive toward her. Until last year, she was always looking for me. She sent me baby photos telling me I needed to go to the United States and donate bone marrow to her son. This is another story. This one actually puts a name on it, so that's a little more notable. Patricia reportedly became friends with Janina de Toledo. She's very friendly and funny. We were going through a rough patch. I told her about my problems. She said that she consulted a very good fortune teller online and that she should get everything right. She gave me her contact info. The woman told her exactly what she wanted to hear. However, it was already at night and she could only make an electronic transfer to the fortune teller the next day. That's when she discovered the account sent by the fortune teller belonged to Patricia's mother. That's when I realized she's trying to scam me. The two are still battling it out in court. So in my opinion, hardly a trustworthy source, considering she hasn't given any actual sauce yet on her claims against Bill Barr. Last thing I want to show. Last thing, I promise. Back in Virginia in this would have been 2019. I think it was February 2019. She sued Target for $3 million. And there's actually more than that because she wanted, here we go. $3 million in compensatory damages, $350,000 in punitive damages for distress and stuff. What really happened, though, the non-disputed facts are she was shopping at Target. She used the self-checkout machine. She did not scan all of her items in her shopping cart before she walked away. Then she was stopped by a sales protection person, and she ended up getting arrested. And there is a charge against her out here. It was originally grand larceny. They ended up dropping it down to trespassing after being forbidden. She was found guilty. She was sentenced to 179 days in jail, but the suspension, they suspended it because she fled the country, I think. But yeah, it's great. She's got a track record of not only making shit up, but kind of playing victim in the whole thing. And it just, I don't buy any of it. So
yeah,
I
think that's probably wise. This is a lot of stuff.
It is. Yeah. And I haven't even gotten through everything. I could probably do more. There's stories of her faking that she had a baby, pictures of her and a baby on Instagram, and it wasn't her baby.
I mean, is she just some kind of intelligence asset who's just running ops?
I don't know. Check out the community notes on this. She's not a reliable source. She falsely reported men for harassment, faked a son with edited photos, got booked by the police in the U.S. for false reporting, and is under an FBI investigation for fraud. She was also once diagnosed with mythomania. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
But I bet it's not good.
I bet it's that you like making things up.
Yep, an abnormal or pathological tendency to exaggerate or tell lies.
Nice word.
I feel like I know a few mythomaniacs, or I've come across a few of those in my day. Still dealing with the fallout from a few. But okay, I want to show this. So I was posting this stuff on Twitter, right? So posted a couple of these things, like what I'm finding. Hey, check this out. Did you know? Did you know? And she responded in the comments, and this is just great. So this is her, Patricia Lelis. I have no idea who you are, but you're clearly not a good person if you're spreading fake news and defending the Bolsonaro family, who have never done anything good for Brazil except enrich themselves. I just want to point, I wasn't defending the Bolsonaro family, by the way. I was just critically analyzing this whistleblower that was brought forth by Project Veritas. So that's what's important to do. You're supposed to analyze these things for reliability of these sources. But she goes on. But tell me, how much are you getting paid to defend Eduardo's small penis? Not enough. Not enough. You know his nickname in Brazil is Small Banana, right? If Eduardo asked you to post these things about me, tell him it's better to stay very quiet, or I'll start revealing the real reason why every day he tries to kiss Trump's ass just to get a little attention.
Is it because Trump is the most powerful man in the world?
Probably. Here's the thing.
I can't wait till she tells us.
Had I known he had a small penis, I probably would have charged more because that's much harder to defend. Or maybe I would have charged less because of sympathy or something. But regardless, like this.
Wait, is this the second message that she sent back to you?
This is
Wasn't
one that
there one before this.
So this is one she responded directly to me. She responded to a few other people who were responding in my replies. See if I can find like here's one. Darling, you are really lacking in intelligence, aren't you? Have you not read or watched anything about the cases? I called the FBI in 2023 with the same evidence, and the FBI investigator wanted me to stay quiet. And don't worry, on Monday I'll be giving an interview about this. But if you want to work on my PR, let me know. It seems you have brilliant ideas no one else has. And by the way, if they have an arrest warrant for me, why am I free? Isn't the FBI so powerful? Imagine being dumb enough to defend Bill Barr. Caught by who? A fake blonde on X? Darling, if you were watching and reading what Project Veritas is posting, you'd know that the evidence was handed over by a third party, someone inside the DOJ, and that Veritas contacted me about the matter.
That sounds like one of those ops that is Burning Bright would call it a pincer.
Yeah. When I see people like you, I can perfectly understand why so many things go wrong for Trump. There's just too much stupidity per square meter. Oh, this is the other one she said. That's a great question. And I'll go further. What's his intention in defending the Bolsonaro family, who have done nothing good for Brazil? And now one of his sons in the U.S. is trying to get close to Trump. Here's the detail. With what money are they doing this? Clearly someone is financing them.
Financing them doing what?
I don't get it. But
so wasn't there a post that she sent where she talked about voting for Lula?
This one might be, oh, that's not it. Oh yeah, this might be it. Oh no, that's the one she just sent to me.
There was one that I thought sent earlier.
Yeah, I thought so too. Did she delete that one? It's in our Telegram chat. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, she sent the other one.
Oh, it was the response to Jordan Sather. Yeah.
Yeah. She says, let me get this straight. You who know nothing about Brazilian politics are judging me based on the fact that I voted for Lula. Honey, I'd vote for the devil before I ever voted for the Bolsonaros. What they do is not only horrible, they're corrupt, and dare I say, they're tied to the CIA. Now they're deceiving all of Americans. I hope you start thinking more critically.
They're tied to the CIA. Wow.
Insane.
Gosh, man, that's really something.
It's crazy.
Brazilian Trump derangement syndrome.
It's weird. And I wasn't even talking about Bolsonaro, really. But still, it's batshit crazy, man. Like, who does that?
I mean, did Project Veritas vet their whistleblower? And do we have any idea of who in the DOJ gave up this critical information that is what really makes her story?
Yeah, well, let me show you Project Veritas, what their source is, if I can find it, because I'm pretty sure it's just like a DM on Twitter, and they say it was from somebody in the DOJ. Hold for processing. Yeah, right here. This is how they got connected to the story. Hi, what type of tip do you have about Bill Barr? Here is the story. A woman tried to report Barr to the FBI because he's part of a group, people who sell visas to millionaires. Barr put the FBI after this woman. She's currently outside the USA with political asylum because she received death threats. This is clearly on Twitter, and it's supposedly from a DOJ official. But I got to imagine, don't you think like Project Veritas would have a tip line that somebody wouldn't use Twitter to send like, this makes no sense. They should come forth with their sources, because I don't buy it. I'll buy it for a second.
It's all very weird. And her defense of herself is nonsensical.
Yeah.
She doesn't sound like someone who is otherwise telling the truth.
No. Why would you bring a penis into it?
I have no idea.
So weird.
For the same reason you would throw a dildo on the court of the WNBA.
Okay, but I like that. I like when dildos get thrown on the court, but leave Eduardo's penis out of my DMs, okay? Or out of my Twitter timeline. I'm trying to keep it PG for posterity's sake. But yeah, man. So I wanted to talk about that. Again, I'm not even necessarily trying to defend Bill Barr. I'm just trying to defend the integrity of the information. If we're going to go answer the question, Ash says, John, how much is Bill Barr paying you to cover up Eduardo's penis? Penis pequeño gate. Not enough. But full disclosure, if Bill Barr ever does pay me, I said this in the chat too, if he ever does pay me, it will be put into the Badlands rev share pot and will be split amongst us all. So we'll all be complicit in that.
Yeah, compromise everybody.
Yeah. But anyways, just ridiculous. I had to show that exchange, even though I wasn't planning to solely because of the penis comment. So good job, Project Veritas. All this stuff is publicly available, by the way. I found it all myself. You can too. So don't hate me. Don't hate the information. It's all out there. What was the other thing we were going to talk about before?
The Pornhub thing?
Oh, yeah, that's it. So do you want to give any context to that first?
Well, I just a friend of mine who's an attorney who I talked to about all sorts of legal issues and little conspiracy theories here and there. She sent over the filing that I think you have probably that you're about to pull up. And she's like, this means that Pornhub is a federal informant. And that seems notable. I don't know what it means necessarily, but it sounds like it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. So let me pull up the details of this. It was all of number 5 and then number 6, I think, were the big ones. So again, yeah, it's the DOJ going after Pornhub. And there's like multiple different companies involved. And at the end of this is the agreement they came to. Yeah, it's number 5, right? Yeah. So the companies shall cooperate fully with the office in any and all matters relating to the conduct described in this agreement and the statement of facts, or any individual or entity referred to herein, blah, blah, blah. They shall cooperate fully with other domestic or foreign law enforcement and regulatory authorities and agencies in any investigation of the company, its parent company, or its affiliates, any of these other, anybody associated with pornography and trafficking is who the company, Pornhub, is going to work with the DOJ on. Upon inquiry, the office and the company shall truthfully disclose all factual information not protected by the valid claim of attorney-client privilege or work product doctrine with respect to its activities, getting porn videos, any of their affiliates, directors, officers, employees, consultants, any allegations and internal or external investigations which the company has any knowledge of. What else here? At all times, they'll make their best effort to be available for interviews, testimony, for any sort of legal stuff, trials, grand juries, interviews with domestic or foreign law enforcement and regulatory authorities. And then down here at the end, in addition to the obligations in paragraph 5 above, during the term of the agreement, should the company learn of any evidence of conduct that may constitute a violation of federal or criminal law by the company shall promptly report such evidence to the office. So anything to do with pornography and trafficking and anything they're aware of in that industry, in that world, they now have to, per the terms of this agreement, tell it to the DOJ, otherwise risk themselves going to jail forever. The only thing keeping them off the hook is being a federal informant for the DOJ. And that's pretty insane. And I don't even know how massive the ramifications of that could be.
Yeah. The case, I was kind of looking into it a little bit, but I guess they have a parent company called ALO Holdings. And it says in December 2023, ALO Holdings admitted to engaging in unlawful monetary transactions involving sex trafficking proceeds. And then with the deal, the DOJ did not find that ALO violated federal laws prohibiting sex trafficking or the exploitation of minors. And ChatGPT is citing the Associated Press there. So take that for what it's worth.
I mean, that's certainly interesting. I have no idea how far and wide the Pornhub stuff goes or whatever. How involved are they in actual sex trafficking? And if they know of some of these operations and people who are filming that shit and selling girls and all these things, like how many people could they potentially wrap up with this? Like it could be huge. I honestly have no idea though.
Yeah, it could be so big, especially once it begins including like the user base, people who are uploading content that they might claim to be theirs, but isn't. Hunter Biden, I think, had a Pornhub account that he was uploading things to.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure that was in the Marco Polo report.
It's insane. And then you think of like this template being used too for all sorts of other potential companies. Like it's not just Pornhub, but like what about, if they're going after somebody with former Twitter, for example, or just Twitter itself now for stuff like this, because they have porn and shit all over their website. Like, would they be doing the same thing? And what about connections to that? I mean, it doesn't specify necessarily what the crimes are. It just says any investigation that we're doing that you may have information on, you are going to give us that information and testify for us. Otherwise, you're going to jail. Like, that's essentially what this is. That template it's pretty dastardly.
Yeah, I wish we had some more time to really dig into this. I don't really know where this leads.
Yeah. Well, maybe if it's worth it, we could even have your friend on to discuss.
Yeah.
Sometime. Next week, I guess we'll be in Deadwood, but
inquire.
Yeah. Goes to basement bigger than Eduardo Bolsonar's banana. It is pretty unfortunate that that's your reputation in Brazil is to have a small penis.
I'm not sure that reputation is valid in any way. It sounds like this woman has probably accused countless men of having small penises.
That's very possible. Very possible. But anyway, yeah. So this is we just thought it was interesting, wanted to show it, and I thought that might take longer for us to get through, but all good.
Oh, I mean, what else are we gonna? We haven't dug to the bottom, so
that's true. I'm gonna play real quick a promo for Gart, kind of our halftime break, even though I don't feel like we're at halftime quite yet. But and then after this, we'll talk about Putin and that situation.
Can't make it to Deadwood? No problem. Join us virtually for the 9th stop on the Badlands Great American Restoration Tour. Streaming live August 15th through 17th from legendary Deadwood, South Dakota. Experience Gart from anywhere with our exclusive virtual live stream ticket. Your pass unlocks front row access to lively discussions and the premiere of Codex 9/11. All from the comfort of your own home. Make new friends and have your questions answered live from the group chat. Grab a ticket to join us in Deadwood. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/Deadwood and get your pass today.
All right, guys, it's getting down to the wire. You gotta get your tickets to Gart this week. Brad, I know, canceled audio files today because he's polishing up his documentary. He wants to be ready to go. He's premiering that at Deadwood.
Snowcat just dropped a link in the Rumble chat to his Rumble video that has, I guess, displayed all the pictures he took at Gart last year.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Are you gonna be there again, Snowcat? Looking forward to seeing you there. Angel Christine Patriot wanted me to tell everybody what I found out about Barr's dad not hiring Epstein. Yeah, that is a common misconception. Last night on OnlyLans, though, I was kind of doing a live digging through while everybody else was talking, and it does appear that Bill Barr quit 3 months before Epstein was hired. Like that.
Donald Barr,
yeah. So that's notable too. I mean, a lot of people come up with this stuff because they really don't like Bill Barr, and maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Yeah, that's the Dalton School is one of those like really high society New York private schools. So the idea that any number of other elites, names of people that we might know or could quickly trace to big law firms or big corporations or whatever, I'm sure there would be a lot of those.
Yeah,
And
no,
so
it's
we
actually
play the association game all the time when we're talking about elite institutions.
what's actually interesting too. I didn't share this publicly last night, but the guy who did hire Epstein has a bunch of claims against him for sexual abuse. Like this is the headmaster who was there at the Dalton school. Well, I don't even, where's his name on here? Headmaster Gardner Dunnan. Yep. But he was there. He was hired in 1975, I think. Is the year? Yeah, he was the headmaster at Dalton School, 1975 to 1997. He replaced Barr, and he's the one who hired Epstein. So I think that's another notable there.
How about the alumni lists? Chevy Chase, Sean Lennon, Anderson Cooper, and Claire Danes. And then it says Dalton was featured as Mariel Hemingway's school in Woody Allen's Manhattan, which, despite anything you might think about Woody Allen, that's a great film.
If I'm being honest, I don't know if I've seen that movie.
That's all right.
I haven't seen many movies.
He had some good ones back then.
Aren't you what movie are you guys doing this week? Did I get invited? I can't remember.
Yeah, well, it's called Badlands.
Oh.
It's a Terrence Malick movie.
Was that an actual invitation or a fake invitation?
Well, of course you can come on, but you'd have to watch the movie.
Okay, I can maybe do that.
I scheduled Badlands for this Tuesday for Gart, you know.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll come on.
A little Gart celebration.
I'll come on. I'll try if I can watch the movie. I'll come on. Yes. Weren't you guys doing something with that special guest too at some point? Not me, the other one. OB.
Yeah. I would love to. I haven't heard back from him since then. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll hold for processing on
one
that.
day. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, guys, get your Gart tickets this week. Going to be great. There was one other thing I wanted to show before we got into the story, but I think we'll just get right to it. First of all, Trump this week made peace in the Eastern Middle East. Is this considered Middle East?
I don't know. It's the Caucasus region, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate name for a region. But Azerbaijani and Armenia made peace. And there's some interesting clips that came out of this too. Like they were talking about, they were in the store. Did you see him in the store? And Trump was like giving them merch.
Yeah.
And he's like, they want me to run in 2028. And one of the guys was like, yeah, we do too. It's so funny. I should find that one.
It is good.
I'm making peace all over the place. And we're on the verge of the big one, which is this: the highly anticipated meeting between myself as president of the United States of America. I don't know what else he would be representing himself as, and President Vladimir Putin of Russia will take place next Friday, August 15th, 2025, in the great state of Alaska. Further details to follow. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I, for one, was surprised that they got him to come to the United States.
I was talking about it on my show yesterday, and I was like, I don't think there's any way that Putin's going to come to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Didn't think about Alaska. That makes total sense if Trump wanted to host it. And that's the sort of place that Putin could easily go without looking like he was kowtowing to the American president, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it used to be Russian land. Right. Back in the day, they sold it to the United States very cheap, I might add to. It was like 2 cents an acre or something insane.
I love when they like act like they're like these were all sales, like it was available on the open market, and they just their price of $2 was right.
Yeah. Well, did you read the story at all of how it got sold? Because I actually did some digging on that, and they offered it to the United States like multiple times. But then the Civil War broke out. Like, we can't really do this now, guys. You're gonna have to hold. And then after the Civil War, after Lincoln was assassinated, they finally got the sale through. But yeah, there's multiple attempts. In 1857, they attempted to press the hand over. And a lot of what they wanted to do was to put a buffer between Europe, I guess, and Russia. Like that was a lot of the reasoning for it, because they didn't think that they could successfully defend Alaska. And so I just thought it was interesting. And then the actual sale went through for 2 cents per acre.
So the United States would have been the buffer between Europeans and Canada and Russia on Russia's east?
That's what it said. It said Russia continued to see an opportunity to weaken British power by causing British Columbia, including the Royal Navy base at Esquimalt, to be surrounded or annexed by American territory.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, but anyway, following the Union victory in the Civil War, the Tsar instructed Steckel to re-enter into negotiations with Seward in the beginning of March of 1867. When was Lincoln assassinated again? Was it 65?
65, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so 2 years later. And then Johnson was a little busy with Reconstruction. They thought that the purchase would divert attention from domestic issues. Yeah, so there we go. But anyway, so yeah, former Russian territory, that is where they're meeting for peace. And it's interesting. Do you want to pull up your article that you had about
let me
Zelensky?
Yeah, give me 1 second here. Oh, here it is. I just had it right available. Isn't that amazing?
It's perfect.
Hold for processing. We are almost there. Well, it makes me do a CAPTCHA every time I'm trying to retrieve an archive link.
Really?
Yeah, it's so annoying. It makes me do a CAPTCHA where I put the puzzle piece in the empty space every time I do a search on Quant. It's so annoying.
Is that like a thing like where AI bots can't do puzzles?
I guess. I don't know. You'd think that they could, right?
You'd think so. If they're going to kill us all, I'd at least expect them to be able to do a puzzle.
Yeah. So this article, I think, is hilarious. Let me just find where my quotes are here so that we can go through a little bit of this. I think I started it. Here we go. The prospect of Trump and Putin discussing the war behind closed doors without Ukrainian representation has raised deep concerns in Kyiv that the future of Ukraine could be negotiated over its head. On Saturday, Zelensky was attempting to build a unified position with European leaders to firm up international opposition to any backroom deal that could compromise Ukraine's territorial integrity, according to senior officials close to the president. His efforts come as officials from the U.S., Europe, and Ukraine prepare to meet in the U.K. on Saturday, and J.D. Vance is apparently attending that.
Wait, who's going to meet?
Andrei Yermak and Rustem Umarov. That's who Zelensky has dispatched, and J.D. Vance and probably like Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron.
So they're meeting in Europe while Trump is meeting with Putin in Alaska?
Well, they're going to meet in Europe this weekend to figure out what it is they want to do to attempt to make it impossible for Trump and Putin to achieve some sort of peace.
Crazy.
And all I ever think about in this event, in all of these events really, is that we are, one of the things that they have systematically confused us about is who the enemy is in war. And, you know, I talk about the good twin, evil twin thing. That's what it is. The war is not between Russia and Ukraine, and it's not being fought to protect Ukraine's sovereign borders. Ukraine doesn't have sovereign borders. It's not a sovereign nation, or you wouldn't be able to end wars that they're supposedly in without their input. So it's really just the Ukraine and the European nations, those global regime powers, against Russia and the United States and the sovereign powers that we've been kind of outlining for a couple of years now. And in that perspective, it makes total sense that Ukraine and Europe's interests wouldn't matter at all in what the final outcome is going to be.
It's insane, man. And what I think is so crazy about this is this is a rerun. We had this exact story take place back in February. Here's I'm going to show my article and then we'll come back to this one. I just want to show you guys. This is February of 2025. Ukraine not invited to U.S.-Russia peace talks, source tells BBC. Zelensky has repeatedly ruled out accepting a peace deal negotiated without Ukraine, telling U.S. television network NBC on Sunday that he would never accept any decisions between the United States and Russia about Ukraine. Never. This is a Wall Street Journal article. Ukraine, Zelensky's left out of U.S.-Russia talks, sees little chance for progress. he says he won't recognize any agreements about the war reached without his country. I think I even have a BBC one. He says no peace deal without Ukraine involvement. Again, all back in February. Now we fast forward, 6 months, and it's back on the menu, boys.
Isn't there a catchphrase on that they used to use? Nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine.
Oh, what a gay! They didn't put that on shirts or anything, did they?
Oh, dude, you can, if you Google that up, Google that up. If you do that, if you look that up, I think that you will find many, many instances of it.
Oh my gosh, it's
Nothing
got a
about
Wikipedia
Ukraine
page.
without Ukraine. Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
It's a foreign policy principle that became relevant during the Russia-Ukrainian war. Oh my gosh. That's retarded.
Yeah. So let's go back to the Financial Times here. There is particular anxiety that President Trump could seek a quick resolution to the war by offering Putin territorial concessions, Ukrainian territory, legitimizing its initial annexation of Crimea and occupation of huge parts of 4 mainland regions of Ukraine: Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporozhye. On Saturday, Ukrainian officials were adamant that the U.S. president did not have the legal or political power to order Ukraine to hand over land. Even if Trump wanted to cut a deal, quote, nobody here in Ukraine has a legal way to give up territories. An official added, the law is going to stop them. That's 3.5 years, actually 11 years of war didn't defeat Russia, but the law is going to step in. In an address, the nation on Saturday morning, Zelensky rejected Trump's suggestion that a peace deal with Russia could involve some swapping of territories, insisting that Ukraine will not gift their lands to the occupier.
This is insane. So this reminds me of another old article. Like, nobody in Ukraine can tell us what we're going to do, says Ukrainian's government, which hasn't had an election in 5 years now? 6 years?
Well, I think it's 2, but
well,
I think it was May of 2024 that they were supposed to have the election.
Okay.
Not that it matters.
It's been
it's
well over
a actor whose administration was the production company of the television show on which he played the president. The whole thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, but it reminds me of that article. I got to take you down and put another one up. Back in February, after he's like, you can't have peace without me, Ukrainian parliament had to get together and do a vote saying, we unanimously support that this guy is the president. But the catch here is that the parliament wasn't elected in here either. They're all overdue to be elected out, voted out. Elections are fake anyway, but whatever. I just thought it was funny. The illegitimate parliaments says that the illegitimate president is legitimate, guys. And he is in control of the territory.
Worth noting, that's the exact situation we had here in the United States: an illegitimate president and an illegitimate Congress and Senate.
100%. 100%.
This was the last funny quote from the article. If Ukraine cedes territory without concessions or enforceable guarantees, Russia would then seize fortified defensive lines at no cost. A former Ukrainian intelligence officer, officer who runs analytical group Frontelligence Insight, wrote on X. So Russia's going to take over all of Europe if Ukraine just backs down. So Ukraine can't back down. You see, they're not going to back down.
I feel like they're going to back down.
They're definitely going to back down. What does it even mean for them to back down? They don't have any choice. All it is a PR campaign to make it look like something else could happen. And it's going to be the same deal that they had in place prior to the quote unquote war.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so they had the war, and very early on in the war, Putin came forth with hey, here's your peace agreement if you want it. And it was Europe who's like, no, we're not doing that. Biden administration said, no, we're not doing that. That's the peace deal we're going to get. We've been saying that here forever. It's going to be the same peace deal he offered the entire time. And if you look at the map, I think this is, if any of this is legitimate anyway, all the territories that they got is what they originally had prior to all the color revolutions. That's basically just what they want out of there. They wanted to denazify Ukraine and get their land back. And that's what this peace deal is going to be.
Yeah, and protect the Slavic ethnic minority in the eastern part of Ukraine that was being attacked by the global regime forces in Ukraine.
Do you think, like, do you remember back to around this time period when Zelensky was, crying like a little baby the first time about not being in the peace talks and how he wouldn't sign any of these deals? Putin was saying, well, and I think Trump did too, if he's not going to sign a deal, then we'll pause the war, we'll have elections, and whoever is there afterwards will sign the peace deal. Mm-hmm. Like, they basically said, we don't need Zelensky to sign this peace deal. The peace deal is happening with or without him. It's just up to him if he wants in. I haven't seen any rhetoric like that come back around again. I wonder if Zelensky will show up at this meeting, because I think Trump floated it, or the White House really floated it. Yeah,
that would make Putin and Trump look quite magnanimous.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And Zelensky would have to traverse Russian territory in his plane to get there, probably.
Or he'd have to fly all the way around.
Yeah, I guess like make it much, much longer.
Yeah. And
down and around or up and around.
I wonder what our stake in this is going to be, because back in around, again, the original time frame, Trump was floating us getting all those rare earths from Ukraine. Mm-hmm. I wonder if we're going to get any more of that.
Wasn't there a thing that they said that Russia was going to take all those rare earths, or that they'd already captured them or something, like just a couple of weeks ago?
I don't know. Did they?
I'm pretty sure I saw that. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah. Cause this was the original deal back in May. Here's what's in Trump's Ukraine minerals deal and how it affects the war. Let's see if I can find it. Washington initially demanded $500 billion share of Ukraine's rare earths and other minerals in exchange for the aid it has already provided to Kyiv. When Zelensky rejected that idea, Trump called him a dictator. You have a small penis, Zelensky. Instead, the agreement that was inked on Wednesday says that future American military assistance to Ukraine will count as part of the U.S. investment into a joint reconstruction investment fund. The deal gives the U.S. preferential rights to mineral extraction. But this got rejected, I'm pretty sure. Back then. Did you find what you were looking for?
I'm finding examples that don't get me all the way there. Although this one maybe will. No. ChatGPT says that there are instances of Russia taking control over mineral-rich lands in eastern Ukraine, but that it doesn't account for all of the rare earths that they were negotiating over.
There's this. This is from. Oh, I gotta go to the archive link.
It seems like the resolution to this is going to be a major moment. This is Russia, like with the United States, soundly defeating in a very public fashion the global regime. Just that's what it is. These European regime-oriented countries, the uniparty faction in America, and the association with NATO, the neocon, neoliberal thing that has gone around the world, military adventurism for the last 100 years. They're suffering an incredible defeat right now in one of their, strongholds in Europe, and their other stronghold down in the Middle East doesn't seem to be doing all that well.
Check this out. This is just a couple weeks ago. Oh no, this is March 31st. Russia, U.S. discussing rare earth metals project. Putin envoy says Russia and the United States have started talks on joint rare earth metals and other projects in Russia. Some companies have already expressed interest in them. Putin's investment envoy said in remarks published on Monday, amid efforts by U.S. President Trump to end the war in Ukraine, minerals cooperation has been floated by both Kyiv and Moscow, though Trump said on Sunday that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky wants to back out of a proposed deal. Now, wouldn't it be interesting if, as part of this deal, whatever, the United States sends the newly DOD majority shareholder-owned company MP Minerals to the little buffer zone over there where these rare earths are to start mining minerals? I think that'd be interesting.
Yes. I did find one from the end of May. I think this is what I was thinking of, or the end of June, sorry. Russia reportedly grabs key Ukrainian lithium site, threatening U.S. mineral deal. That's what I saw. But we also have lithium here, so it's going to be okay.
We do. We just haven't mined it for the past however long.
I think they've got projects well underway. And I mean, I used to hear about some sort of lithium deposit in Arkansas like 5-6 years ago. And I think that that's one of the big ones that they're kind of announcing and the public's finding out about now.
What the hell? Yeah, this is interesting. I'm excited for this if it happens, because I wouldn't be surprised if there's a curveball. There's been curveballs along the way with all the Russia Putin stuff. It's scheduled for the 15th. If it actually happens, a lot of people have been waiting for this specific peace deal. It's almost been mimetic. Like Trump's made ending this war a meme. Like he's talked about all the time. It's going to be a day one thing. Although, I mean, obviously it didn't happen that way, but it's one of those things that never would have happened if they never stole the election from him. And we're on the verge of that coming to a conclusion, which I think could be not just in terms of peace, but like things that Russia has been tied to with Trump's first term, like with the Russiagate stuff. Imagining a peace situation, a public peace situation, even though we've already thought there was more going on behind the scenes, that becoming public and like a partnership of sorts between Trump and Putin and the United States and Russia. Imagine the information sharing that we could potentially get from that in the midst of this huge Rico Grande case going on. I think it's massive.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is Russia. So Russia, China, the United States of America are the three global superpowers and have been for an awfully long time. So the global regime's priority has always been to get a foothold in all these places and eventually take full control of the government. And I think that in all three of those places within the last century, they've had that situation. And it actually seems to me like China and Russia have gotten out of that before we have, but we are on the way out now. This agreement, the culmination of this thing, seems like the communication of that to the world.
Yeah. I wonder too, and this might be a dumb question. Do we do much trade with Russia right now?
No, like almost none.
Almost. That's what I figured. So now imagine, this opening up the doors to some of the trade stuff with them as well, like the economic impact. I can see the headlines now, like Trump negotiates peace with Russia, slows down 10% tariff on them, and now we're making billions of dollars a year from Russia buying our goods.
Well, there was an interesting story with Russia's oil and India the other day, and Donald Trump saying that he's going to tariff India 50% if they're purchasing Russian oil. Well, just a couple of days before that, he talked about the possibility that Pakistan is going to open up oil fields, and then India might buy from Pakistan, who was their like ultimate enemy for however many decades. And so we have all these long running conflicts that Trump is getting solved. And it tells you, I think it's true in every case, no matter what country we're talking about, there's going to be the global regime faction fighting against the sovereign nationalist faction and whoever their backers are when it comes to, other world superpowers. But they keep these conflicts going for decades, for generations, because it keeps the situation destabilized. And it seems like all of their proxy states that they had control of that were causing these conflicts are all being subdued at this point. I don't know how else to read it.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to ignore that fact. It's something that you've mapped onto reality, and I think you've nailed it with the good twin, evil twin thing. We always think like deep state, but there's a deep state in every single country, and Trump is somehow systematically,
and it's the same deep state.
Yeah,
that's the most critical part of it. I mean, you look at the two goals, and this is the real deciding factor between good twin, evil twin, is whether it goes towards centralization or decentralization. And the centralization side, the entire point is that everything is run from the top in centralized fashion, and that they control everything with a one world model, borderless world where they go wherever they want. And people are just moved in migration projects around to wherever cheap labor is needed. Like that's their vision. And so they've pursued that successfully now for a really long time, but it seems like it has finally failed.
What do you think about the like a week prior to this, even maybe 2 weeks ago, there was that discussion about the nuclear, Medvedev and Trump were going at it.
Oh yeah,
publicly, and Trump makes the public statement that he's moving his nuclear submarines, just like he made the public admission that they're going to bomb Iranian nuclear facilities. Like, you don't do that in a real war. So it was obviously like a little fake kayfabe, whatever going on. But do you think we've had the
people get scared as hell of that stuff? Like, that wakes people up. They're like, whoa, this is, they imagine it's going to be like the movies.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think we've had an appropriate level of scare event yet? Like what if Trump and Putin get together and meet and it doesn't go well, and all of a sudden both sides are moving their nuclear subs all over the place? Like, what is the fact that they're meeting a guarantee for the peace? Is it possible we don't get that outcome?
Yeah, I think it's possible that we don't get that outcome, and it'll be because the regime elements do something that everybody absolutely hates, but it extends the quote unquote war. That's been the pattern over and over and over again. We're about to have peace, and then they do something to, usually through the avatar of Zelensky, they do something that makes it clear that the war is going to go on.
When did Trump and Putin meet in the first term? Do you remember?
I looked it up earlier today, actually. So they met in Helsinki, I think, in 2019. And then there was one meeting before that, and I'm not remembering where, although hold on a second. I have it right here in the first term. So July 7th, 2017 in Hamburg, and July 16th, 2018 in Helsinki.
July 7th, you said?
Yep. 2017.
So is it
G20 meeting?
Interesting. Because in his first term, the first place he went to was the Saudi Arabia, Middle East. Like, there was a big story about that was his first presidential visit.
Yep.
Is this the same pattern? Is he meeting with the same countries in the same order?
Could be. That is a really interesting way to think of it. That might be right. I don't know. I've never thought about it before.
Well, here, I bet we could look this up. See if I can find a list.
Regardless, he does seem to be getting the other world leaders on his side, and they recognize him as the one to be dealing with, and not all the people they were dealing with earlier.
Yeah. I don't think it's the same, because he met with a bunch of other countries like Israel in his first term. Okay, so ignore my thoughts on that. But maybe it's just interesting that's around the same time. I don't know. I'm just kind of like trying to temper my expectations for this meeting, because we've all been looking for the peace, and we think that's what's going to come out of this meeting. But I almost think it'd be more interesting if it doesn't, and what that means for things moving forward too.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a number of hints. People are suggesting that there could be events that take place this week, likely false flags, to throw off that peace process. I mean, they're just trying to control a story. That's all it is. Yeah.
And it's what's happened every single time. Like, every single time, like you said, that they've been on the verge of this, either there's the false flag in Russia, like every time we've had a ceasefire, there's a false flag somewhere, or somebody bombs somebody and it kicks the whole thing off again. At one point, Zelensky gets pissed and the peace deal's off. Another point, Putin's the bad guy. Peace gets called off. Trump's been mad at both these people, we're told, along the way. So I don't know. Tempering expectations. I'm just curious to see what happens. Excited for it too. Alaska's an interesting location.
Yeah.
Am I on?
It'll probably be some pretty magnificent photos coming out of that. I mean, you think about what we're witnessing right now. I mean, there are events that are optics only. Optics are clearly an important consideration in virtually everything these people are doing at this point. And so Trump and Putin getting together, you have to assume they're going to make it look larger than life.
Yeah. I wonder if one side is going to give the other side a sports ball. Like if this happened in the past.
Yeah.
Trump gives him a football or something. Anyway, yeah. So unless you have anything else you want to say on that, I kind of want to talk about the Trump and the cartels.
Cool.
Because that's an interesting story as well. Trump has directed the Pentagon to prepare options to use. Is this? Am I reading this wrong? Trump directs Pentagon to prepare options to use force against drug cartels officials.
Oh gosh, man.
What the hell?
These news sites are just so low grade.
Well, I think whoever wrote this is using what the drug cartels are selling. This holy shit. But anyway, so this is like a big story, or people are like talking about it a lot. What I find interesting though is, didn't Trump kind of basically say he was going to do this? He gets in the office day one, signs multiple executive orders declaring a war at the national, or declaring an invasion at the national, at the border, militarizing the border, like saying that all these cartels and everything coming across is like a justified military use.
Mm-hmm.
And so why is it that surprising that he's like willing to use the military potentially to go after drug cartels? Like it wasn't all that surprising, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on this.
I mean, I think it makes total sense, especially from a national security perspective. The Army is, we've talked about this a number of times, but the idea of the military is that it protects the homeland, not that it goes around to all these other countries in the world trying to overthrow their governments. You know, like we have this understanding because of the brainwashing that we're subjected to throughout our lives, that the U.S. military operating on American soil is some kind of violation of society and proof that we have fallen into some dictatorship. I mean, that's what Rachel Maddow was pitching this week.
Yeah. I do want to point something out from my Devolution Part 19. It's ironically the Rico Suave article talking about Hillary and the Rico case.
Mm-hmm.
But I get into this article talking about transnational criminal organizations and how what is in the RICO fits that definition. But there are things Trump already did in his first term having to do with essentially militarizing the battle against transnational criminal organizations. So I just want to point some of this out. This is in the National Defense Strategy, talking about pursuing threats to their source, and then talking about drug cartels and how they're transnational criminal organizations. The illicit opioid epidemic fed by drug cartels, as well as Chinese fentanyl traffickers, kills tens of thousands of Americans each year by corrupting and undermining democratic institutions. TCOs are motivated by profit, blah, blah, blah. Mattis unveils new strategy focused on Russia and China. And then talking in this strategy document, the unclassified summary was a whole bunch of stuff about disrupting global drug cartels. And this is a military document, by the way. So I just think it's really interesting that Trump has kind of already alluded to doing this. We've seen, multiple instances, some changes in EOs, which were interesting, talking about one foreign state, two foreign states, all those things. We've talked about that a lot in the past. But here we go, a DOD framework to counter drug trafficking and other illicit threat networks. So what Trump is doing now just seems like a continuation of what he was already doing in his first term.
Can you open that document right there?
I can.
I wonder if there's anything about El Salvador in it. Because I think El Salvador is such an interesting case because, Bukele is presented as a hero by mainstream media on quote unquote the right. And maybe Bukele is great. I don't know. The Bitcoin stuff I like, the anti-crime stuff I generally like. So cool. But it also kind of has the same feel that Javier Milei has down in Argentina, that there's a rug coming on both of them. But for them to actually clear El Salvador of the cartels and the gangs and the rest of it, you would think that they would have had to have had some outside support.
Well, here is the only mention of them in this document. And I think is this an unclassified version? I don't know. Let me double check here. It must be. Yeah. Well, anyway, let me show you what it says. It says, this quoted part here on the right, Making matters worse, Latin American armed groups are going transnational. Some of Brazil's gangs, for example, are expanding their reach beyond Brazil. First Capital Command, or PCC, now Latin America's most infamous drug faction, has operations in at least 7 countries across South America. Groups hatched in the United States, the MS-13 and Barrio 18, have made El Salvador one of the world's most violent countries measured by homicide rate. In the Colombian city of Medellin's fragmented cartels, criminal gangs, rebel groups, and paramilitary organizations have metastasized from Mexico to Argentina. Likewise, outside of the Americas, in metropolises such as Cape Town, Lagos, and Karachi, gangs recruit child soldiers to fight their battles and service booming cross-border trade in drugs, minerals, and trafficked people. That's a quote in here. So that's the only mention, though.
Yeah. That's interesting, though. U.S. gangs on the streets in El Salvador getting cleaned up.
Yeah. But yeah, this whole thing, I'll post this in the chat.
And this was 2019, you said, right?
Yes. In May of 2019, 2 months after Trump's EO on transnational criminal organizations, they put out this framework to counter drug trafficking and other illicit threat networks.
Yeah. We talked about this at the beginning of the Trump term when he first did the executive orders about, designating the cartels as terrorist organizations. And some of the reaction from the New York Times and elsewhere, they were like apoplectic because the cartels, their businesses are so ingrained with the legal part of the economy. And I think it says something really interesting about the nature of the global criminal enterprise. I think of cartels essentially as trafficking operations and private militaries for the global regime. Terrorist organizations are basically the same thing. And they use these interchangeably to accomplish the same goals wherever they're set up all around the world. And with the businesses that they're involved with in the different aspects of those businesses, I think the dual use model that we kind of all learned during the COVID thing makes a lot of sense. They're doing the research, the gain of function research, because they're trying to create this new virus, but not as a bioweapon, so that we can defend ourselves from that virus emerging in real life. So you see, there's an offensive way that it could be used, but we're using it this other defensive way. So if you think about like a shipping company, for instance, a shipping company does totally legitimate business, moving products, people, whatever it is across the world in legitimate ways, weapons, drugs, well, not drugs necessarily, but manufacturing inputs for pharma, you could say, would be part of the legal element. Although what's the difference at that stage? And then you have the illegal part that's kind of all happening behind the scenes, where they're trafficking any number of other things. And so you kind of have all these businesses that are dual use, and they have this linkage to the cartels. And then once the cartel leaders become significantly wealthy, they end up investing in all sorts of legitimate businesses. And so it becomes so intertwined. And when you think about that on the global scale, and what he would have to, or what anyone in Trump's position would have to do to actually pursue that, it's pretty incredible.
I totally agree. I don't think we really understand the depth of involvement of some of this like drug trade stuff in funding the global regime's operations, like all over the place. But I want to read this one paragraph from this document because I think it's kind of hits the nail on the head, and why I'm not surprised to see the Pentagon like potentially getting involved in going to the source after these drug cartels. The department's statutory mission to serve as the single lead agency for the detection and monitoring of aerial and maritime transit of illegal drugs into the United States remains a priority. By performing this mission, DoD helps deter, disrupt, and degrade potential threats before they reach the United States. DoD also supports U.S. government and international efforts to target TCOs, transnational criminal organizations, at their source, and builds international partnerships to prevent transnational threat networks from undermining sovereign governments, decreasing regional stability, and threatening the United States. While sustaining its global CIDT efforts, DoD is directing operational and fiscal resources toward efforts that support national defense strategy objectives to disrupt, degrade, and dismantle threat networks and VEOs that use proceeds generated from illicit activities to fuel insurgencies, contribute to regional instability, or enable acts of terrorism and the malign activities of adversary states. With its updated statutory authorities, DoD may now support U.S. government actions against a broader continuum of illicit threat networks. This includes a variety of criminal associations, including the trafficking of money, human trafficking, illicit financial flows, illegal trade in natural resources and wildlife, trade in illegal drugs and weapons, and other forms of illegal means as determined by the Secretary of Defense pursuant to statutory authority. There's a little footnote here, which has to do with posse comitatus as well, military support for civilian law enforcement. So not only could they be used to go abroad, they can also be used domestically to go after some of these groups of people.
That sounds like it covers a whole lot.
A whole lot. Remember, Trump changed the definition of what it means to be a transnational criminal organization. And I think that's like the RICO case we're seeing unfold right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could look at that as a transnational criminal organization, and it could fit with all this stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
no question about it. You guys talked the other night, I know, about the deprivation of rights under the color of law thing. And I think that is so relevant in all of this stuff. I think we're going to see that in a major way.
Yeah, I'd love to get your take on that. You know, for those who missed Wednesday's show, and I understand if you did, because Burning Bread's the other host, the law that they're using to go at, like the underlying law that they're using to go after all these people in the RICO case is the deprivation of human rights under color of law. Let me see if I can even pull up the deprivation of civil liberties. And the thing that I thought was interesting is there's an interview where Devin Nunes, I think he was being interviewed by John Solomon. He said, you know, people have died because of what went on here. And then you look at this actual law, that one of the things is if people have died because of the deprivation of rights, you could be sentenced to death or have life in prison. And I even went and looked at some of the cases that have been tried using this, and private citizens who participate in conjunction with law enforcement. Like, so if law enforcement is found guilty of this because they're, you know, people who are, people of serving under the law or whatever, United States.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the exact term, but if you are a private citizen who's assisting in those deprivation of rights, you are found guilty just as much as they are. And you could also be sentenced to the same thing. There's Supreme Court precedent of that, by the way.
This should cover a lot. And I think that this is going to be really fruitful ground for attorneys to pursue over the next few years. When you just think about the free speech violations of the violations of that right under the color of law by government organizations for the last 5 years, you'd think that there would be a lot there to go on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how to say this. Like, our elections being as fake as they are.
There you go.
How many people were deprived of their rights because of our fake election being stolen?
How many people died as a result of Joe Biden's vaccine mandate?
It's a great question. I don't know if that's the best example, because people would be like, Trump said Operation Warp Speed is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Operation Warp Speed is more things than that, but
yeah, but
he's also going to have to stick with that until the end. It's crazy that people haven't like gotten past the fact that, like, okay, he knows. He doesn't actually need to tell you. Are you still taking vaccines? No.
He doesn't know, Chris. He clearly doesn't know. He doesn't have access to that information. We do, though.
RFK Jr. hasn't told him.
It's insane. Yeah. But no, I don't know. I'm excited about this RICO stuff. I think the hardest part of that is going to be making that connection. Like, so first you're going to have to find them guilty of the crime, right? And then after that, you're gonna have to show, okay, well, because they were guilty of the crime, this is how many people died. That's why they should be put to death or whatever. Let's just say that's the conclusion we want them to get to. That is gonna be the hard part. Not saying it's not possible. I just see that leap being, so you're gonna have to be specific with that. Like, you have to prove it in a court of law that because of the actions they took, they killed people. And I don't know if is it going to get into COVID? There's been no mention from, really all the talk from John Solomon and all these people has been about 2016 and then a little bit of Mar-a-Lago. It doesn't go into much in between there, and no mention of COVID yet as part of the RICO grand conspiracy. So
if people's theories about Seth Rich are right, I suppose that would put people dying in that picture.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one for sure. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. It's exciting though.
It is exciting. We're seeing some of the stories from a few years ago kind of come back around, and it seems like we're going to get a lot of them to wrap up over the course of the next, I don't know, 9 or 10 months until Trump starts the 250th birthday celebration.
That's my thing. Like, I wonder what the timeline is going to be on this, because I'm willing to be patient. I'm not traditionally a patient person with this stuff. And I feel like we've been waiting a long time. I don't want to wait much longer, but it is, you sent me a link earlier. I'm going to pull two things up. I'm just getting them transferred to my phone here. One,
I'm trying to remember what I sent you.
That real clear investigations article.
Oh yeah.
So this is something, if you've been watching my daily show or the Power Hour, Real Clear Investigations is now picking up on it. That story about the whistleblower in Durham. Because I've been like, why is nobody talking about this? This is, to me, the biggest part of this whole thing. And now they're talking about it. The whistleblower with ties to the Clinton campaign to fake Russia hack. Remember the guy who was like picking up these IP addresses? They told him to shut it down, and then turned out that is this the guy that wrote it?
No, this is the guy that they believe to be the whistleblower.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't actually read the article. I just saw that is very interesting. I'm gonna have to do some research on him. But yeah, anyway, they're picking up on the story, and I think this is huge because it connects the intelligence community to the Hillary Clinton campaign. Oh man, these fuckers basically copied my post. I did a whole post on this.
That's Sperry right there.
Oh, fucking course it is. That guy drives me nuts. This motherfucker. Okay, so look at this. Because
did you go through the McCain thing? I thought that was interesting too.
I didn't get to the McCain stuff, so we'll give him that one. But this stuff, like I on my post I did this. I could go back and find it. I don't want to come off as salty though. I think I've already.
He's repurposing devolution for the normie layer.
There you go. Like, so Paul Sperry's good sometimes, but he's also very like clickbaity. Like the other day he's posting something like, breaking news, sources tell me that more declassifications are coming. They're imminent. It's like, yeah, bro, like Tulsi Gabbard just said that on Fox News 2 hours ago. Is that your source? Like, don't be like that, bro. Okay, well, so never mind that one. But this video is pretty good. Bannon and Solomon.
Mama may have given us a smoking gun, sir.
He did, yeah. He's either the first clairvoyant president in American history because he seemed to know on December 19th, before the CIA had redone the intelligence community assessment, what its outcome was, or more likely, he knew the fix was in. This is an interview he gives NPR, and I guess he forgot that they hadn't done the work yet. So he tells NPR he expects the CIA to reverse itself and conclude that Vladimir Putin tried to help Donald Trump. The problem is the CIA hasn't really even started the work. It just got going. And he's so embarrassed, he comes back later and tries to walk it back a little bit. Oh, things are still going on. We'll have to see where it goes. It is the sort of proof that John Durham should have found in his investigation, but didn't. But for this point going forward, when you try to prove, let's just say, long 10-year conspiracy, this is a really, really significant piece of evidence. And I'll walk people back to Watergate because you mentioned it for a second. The moment Republicans bolted on Richard Nixon, the epic event that caused them to do it was when they got the tapes and they realized that Nixon had asked the CIA to try to stop the FBI from investigating the burglary. By the way, the CIA didn't do it, but the mere fact that a president would consider asking the CIA to do something political, it was enough for an entire party to bolt on their president. Here, Obama asked the CIA to come up with a concocted thing, and he seems to know the outcome before the work's even done. You've got the FBI pressuring the CIA to put a bogus Christopher Steele document in the intelligence assessment. And of course, you got the FBI helping Hillary Clinton carry out the whole dirty trick. It is epically, just on the standards of Watergate, it is epically worse than anything we saw in Watergate. And the Democratic Party just yawns at it in our face every day. That's why consequences matter. If we don't punish this behavior, we're going to go from the greatest constitutional republic the world has known to a perennial banana republic.
I'm actually trying to find the part of the interview where he says this, because this came December 19th.
That says 15th on it, doesn't it?
December 19th.
Oh, okay. So the interview was recorded on the 15th, though. What it shows on screen right there. So
yep.
December 15th. Yeah.
You're right. So that might make it more juicy. Because what date did he say? I'll look up the date here. Let me find where he says this. I'm just clicking through the transcript here. Maybe this here.
In October, we said, after being very careful about it, because we had no interest in appearing as if we were putting our thumbs on the scales, we did what was almost unprecedented, which was every intelligence agency in the federal government arrived at a consensus that the Russians had hacked the DNC, and the information that was now being released was as a consequence of a decision by Russian intelligence and Russian officials at the highest levels. So what the CIA is now assessing, which was it was done purposefully to tilt the election in the direction of a particular candidate, shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, and in fact isn't a surprise to anybody. And as I said before, the issue now is not relitigating the election. The issue now is for us to learn lessons so that we don't have an ongoing situation in every election cycle where you have substantial foreign influence in our campaigns.
There's another issue going forward.
Okay, so December 15th, he says that the CIA is now assessing that Russia hacked the election, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what John Solomon is alluding to. December 9th is when they had this meeting. And then coming out of that meeting, it's like, hey, POTUS wants us to dig into Russian meddling and prepare a report on it, specifically about Russian meddling. December 14th, the day before this interview, which is interesting. I wonder if they did this on purpose, but IC officials leaked to the media, this time claiming that IC officials believed with a high level of confidence that Russian President Vladimir Putin was personally involved in the election hack.
I love when they say that the IC is leaking to the media as if those are different things.
It's leaking to him.
Like somehow the reporter found out.
Yeah. It's very true, man. But yeah, that's interesting that they're bringing that up. It is what Gabbard put in this release, but yeah, notable for sure. Yeah, the timeline is what's so juicy to me, the whole thing. That's been one of my favorite parts, like going through my mind map is piecing together random shit on the timeline. Have you ever done a mind map, man?
Sort of. I use like a mind mapping program for outlining and stuff.
Yeah.
I use Simple Mind.
Yeah, I got Gordon's, and it's
he's
consumed my life.
Yeah, maybe I should start doing that.
No, it's awesome. You can link to stuff. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
One of these days I kind of go over it on my show every week. But anyway, you got anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. What else have we been shooting the shit about this week?
I don't know.
Is there anything?
Chat, you guys got anything for us? Anything you want us to discuss? Economic stuff. I mean, Trump's been a baller. Mark Levin has completely lost his damn mind.
That's true. The census.
Oh yeah, we could do that quick. Okay, there's something I did find interesting about Maduro getting a $50 million.
Yeah.
You should give your thoughts on Maduro because it's brilliant. But I went back to Trump's first term. Again, I always like to go see what he's doing because a lot of what I think we're seeing here is Trump kind of just picking up the pieces and going forward again from what he was already kind of doing originally. And there's this memorandum that he issued back the day before he left office, so January 19th. I don't know, did I show you guys this, or have we talked about this before?
Gosh, I don't know.
Okay, so again, day before he leaves office, so heavy Devo term, lots of crazy shit going down at the end of his term. He implements this memorandum, deferred enforcement departure for certain Venezuelans. And he's like, well, there's a lot, potentially up to 5 million Venezuelans in this country. I'm going to direct you guys to defer deporting them or removing them for at least 18 months. And then by that time, like the border's wide open anyway, and nobody's finding illegal aliens. So I just thought it was interesting. He's like, you guys can stay. I recognize Juan Guaido as the interim president of the country.
Yeah. The Guaido thing was always notable because he was like the leader of the parliament there and was never actually president. And a few months ago, I was going through on my show an article from Axios in like 2023, where just out of nowhere, they just admitted that Juan Guaido was never actually president. It's just so weird that it was ever pretended otherwise. And then you had Marco Rubio out there a couple of weeks ago saying that Maduro is illegitimate and that Maria Corina Machado was actually, I guess, the leader, even though she wasn't the person who ran. They had the same sort of thing that like Lula is Brazil's Joe Biden. They tried to run Venezuela's Joe Biden with the, as the Trojan horse that brings in the Venezuelan Kamala Harris.
Yeah, it's such a good way to put it. I just think it's so weird. Like $50 million bounty essentially on his head. Like they put a bounty on his head.
And I think I saw something that Maduro had responded with like his own 50 million thing.
It's a $50 million to the release of the Epstein files.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which is hysterical. There's this, people in the chat have pointed out, Trump apparently on Monday, he's going to hold a press conference, the White House, which will essentially stop violent crime in Washington, D.C.
What is he going to announce? Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm just saying the way this sentence was written is that his press conference is going to stop violent crime in D.C. It's going to be a great press conference. But yeah, so I don't know. What do you think he's doing? Federalizing it?
That would be the most likely answer, I think, bringing the National Guard in. I mean, he has like 6 different law enforcement agencies in D.C. right now to stop violent crime in D.C. And I was talking yesterday. I think it's interesting the way that the kind of roving gangs in Washington, D.C. are being described. These thugs that are going around beating people up. We had the story about Big Balls this week.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of the Central Park 5 jogger thing. Remember that was like the big story that meant Trump was racist. That was like one of the 3 major Trump is racist stories back before the first term even. That was a crazy story. Trump was speaking out against actual violent gangs that would do a thing called wilding out and go and attack people in the park. And the people that were accused and arrested, like you can watch their video testimony. It's clear that they're violent criminals.
Yeah.
And Trump was racist for pointing it out, I guess.
It's crazy. I have started to lovingly refer to these groups as the youthies.
Yes. I think that's a good term. I like that.
Yeah.
Well done.
Since Trump said, the youths are running amok right now. And anyway, his press conference is going to end violent crime. I think I saw Mike Lee on Twitter. I don't know if it was Mike Lee or his based Mike Lee Twitter account. I don't know which one it was, but he was saying that in order to do it properly, they should just give back all of DC to Maryland and just keep the property land with the White House and like the Capitol and all that stuff on there. And that's it. And I low-key love that idea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there should not exist a federal city that is run by the government. It's insane.
No. Yeah.
Like totally unaccountable. And they did that on purpose. And they have their own courts there. They're just like we're the law here. Just give us this little tiny spot.
So stupid. And the park police, I thought was weird, is running the task force of all like the other groups in DC security.
There must be some kind of legal distinction that would make it preferable to use them.
I don't know. Somebody's saying Big Balls is going to be at the press conference on Monday. Wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe the park police has full jurisdiction over the monument areas throughout Washington, D.C.
That would make sense.
So maybe they can like keep other law enforcement agencies off that certain territory.
It's just weird to think of like you have the National Guard and like the FBI and like all these ops people. Then you have like the fucking park police with a bat. Like, do they have weapons? Does park police carry weapons and shit?
They might be the biggest badasses of all time.
Maybe carry like batons and shit. Anyway, okay. What else? Was there any other stories? Others could always go to the booths.
I'm trying to think back. The federalizing DC and the census stuff, I think, are the most interesting.
Yep, could be big. Census and the redistricting. There's big fights over that. Texas is like, not only are they charging the Democrats who fled the state $500 a day. There was talk of them like removing them from government altogether. I don't think it's happened, but the FBI is now involved, and I think there's something else that I saw that they're doing now, trying to get them back. See if I can find it. But that whole thing is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. But hopefully, however it ends up getting resolved, we will have the problem that has been created alleviated.
Here, this is a congressional district drawn by Democrats in Maryland. Look at that.
I mean, how can they even do that with a straight face?
They can't. And now we're just basically doing the same thing to them. And
oh yeah.
And they're just crying foul. But yeah, here's this might be the post that I saw. They revoked the derelict Democrat lawmakers' access to direct deposits, so they're not getting paid until they come back. They're charging them $500 per day. The FBI is involved. And I think I saw that they can't fundraise to pay off the fines either. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I saw something today about how they made it so that Beto couldn't help them fundraise.
Is he like still a thing? I didn't know he was still a thing.
I don't know. I guess that he's. When there's characters like Beto O'Rourke or Stacey Abrams, I assume that they were promised the things, the offices that they ran for, and whatever the Trump side of things does in terms of influencing elections, they didn't get the positions that were assigned to them. So they keep trying to find, the Democrats do keep trying to find other ways to involve these people and get them paid off for the corrupt things they must have done.
Oh, here's a good thing. A funny post anyway from Trump. Oh, also Trump's legalizing weed now, he said. Which
he said in a post? I didn't see that one.
No, it's a report going around. I'll see if I can find that. But this is a post from him. Crooked Nancy Pelosi and her very interesting husband beat every hedge fund in 2024. He's missing a Y. So I'll look for the decodes to see what that means. In other words, these two very average minds beat all of the superior geniuses on Wall Street, thousands of them. It's all inside information. Is anybody looking into this? She is a disgusting degenerate who impeached me twice on no grounds and lost. How are you feeling now, Nancy?
He also used a lowercase I on information.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that he put a new version of that out with every fixed. I don't know if the other typos were fixed.
Let's see if I can find it.
I am right there right now. So it did fix it did not fix the lowercase I on information.
Interesting. Yeah, that's that. Okay, I was going to look up Trump legalize marijuana.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's already basically legal in most of these states at this point.
Yeah. And it's not even technically a real. He's just considering it, guys. He's reportedly considering reclassifying marijuana as less dangerous, according to a individual familiar with the matter, I'm assuming.
It also would make sense to do that.
Look at that. Citing sources familiar with the matter. Yeah, it would. I mean, this is a long time coming.
Like even if you don't want it fully legalized for recreational use, still like reducing the classification makes sense.
Yep. I would agree. Hey man, how about we get to some boosts?
Let's do it.
And some rants. If you guys want us to talk about anything else, it can be in the form of a boost or a rant. Plus, let me check YouTube real quick. Peter Friedrich, good to see you, man. That's a lot of thumbs up. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, let's see here. Gerlich says, what are your thoughts on Pam Bondi posting a $50 million reward on a warrant for the arrest of Maduro? We already covered that, so but thank you for the rant. 1027 JS says support for DPH for $20. Thank you, Joe, my fellow North Dakotan. Rocky Top Apologist says, I feel so based as I pack up the camper and truck to go to Deadwood. That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
That's the way to do it too, is to like actually get in a camper and go camp in Deadwood. I am a little jealous. That might be all the Saturday ones. Well, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to Micro Toolmaker. I saw he gave a rant tonight. We'll get to that. But last Saturday, he gave a $333.33 rant. So,
wow.
I'm going to give another shout out. You weren't there for that.
I wasn't.
So it was recorded. Anyway, okay. Let's do some of these rants here. Micro Toolmaker for $55 says, better late than never. Again, nothing can stop what is coming. I also saw he gifted some subscriptions, so thank you, sir, for that. Ash says, I think I read this earlier. Answer the question, John. How much is Bill Barr paying you to cover up Eduardo's penis? Penis Pequeño Gate. It's a great rant, even for $1. Deborah Stars, bought my virtual ticket. Still can't find your email. Can you please resend? You may not have my email spelled correctly as it's a little outside English. What is that? Okay, is that the email? I'm assuming. I will hold on. I'll save that and I will resend. Deborah, thank you for getting your virtual ticket, by the way. Custard 1, Chris, are you able to talk briefly about Laura Aboli and her theory about Palantir as per your Telegram channel?
I mean, I don't know what I could add to what she wrote. She had a post that I thought was interesting about the names and the associations with Lord of the Rings and what it means for these various Palantir platforms.
I have not seen that.
Yeah. I mean, you can...
I'll check it out.
Yeah, go on my channel and search Aboli or search Palantir.
Okay. I will do that. Faith and Freedom says, rare earth mine in California that was shut down in 2002 because of China was fired back up in 2017. By 2020, produced 15% of the world's rare earths. Funny, this is on the news.
Wow.
That is funny.
I like it.
The Abe Theory. John, I'm so proud to know you, Chris, and all the Badlands group. Thank you for strength and inspiration. You are leading many to a truth far beyond politics. The right thing isn't glamorous. Thank you. Thank you.
What are you trying to say, Abe? This isn't glamorous?
What are you trying to say, Chris? You don't feel glamorous doing this?
I know.
The hell, man?
We are on TV on the internet.
Hey, it's great, though. It's fun.
Yeah.
And next week, we're going to be on TV in person on the internet. Also in person, though, as well, with all of our friends. It's going to be so much fun. Chrissy P says, unrelated topic, but can't Trump do away with nationwide mail-in voting by simply having a postmaster mandate or an executive order stating the USPS will no longer deliver any mail that contains ballots? Maybe.
I don't know if you can just do that by fiat, but it is pretty interesting. It's a good question.
I'd love to see him try, though, and I'd love to see the court battle. I'd love for him to just expose election fraud and let the chips fall where they may.
Right.
But we'll get there maybe someday. Space Monkey says, color of law, misuse of power, possessed by virtue of state law and made possible only because wrongdoers clothed with authority of state is action taken under color of law. Black's Law Dictionary.
There you go.
Or sorry, Black's Law Dick. My bad. Nevada Runner says, thumbs up. Don't forget us on YouTube. Never forget you guys. You guys are great. Still surprises me like how we have such a consistent base of like 150 people that watch on YouTube all the time. You guys are awesome. Deborah Stars, Texas playing hardball warms my heart. It is nice to see. Then we got Beto was in Kansas City speaking at some event this week. My lefty friends were posting how wonderful he is all over Facebook. Sounds like you might need better friends. Sorry to hear that. But yeah, man, I think that is potentially all that I got. I'm just trying to find out. Got an outro clip I want to play.
Oh, really? Is it going to be funny?
No, it's going to be a teaser.
Oh, wow.
It's the soft disclosure teaser.
Oh, yeah.
I just got to download into the stream. I don't know where I put it. So very excited about this, though, guys. We'll be disclosing a little less softly what this is here this next week. You just got to stay tuned. You'll understand why that was funny next week. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to get your GART ticket, your virtual ticket. That's kicking off this week. I'm driving down Wednesday.
Nice.
Can't wait. So we'll see you guys down there. The next Power Hour you see Chris on will be live from the stage in Deadwood next Saturday. So you don't want to miss out on the shenanigans. Chris, catch you later, man. Looking forward to seeing you this week.
Yes, sir.
You'll have a great rest of your weekend.